In 2024, Canada built more rental apartments than in the last 3 decades. But instead of rent prices stabilizing, they continue to climb. So what's going on? If this was just a supply issue, rents should have cooled. But this isn't a supply problem. It's a system design problem. Let's get started with what has changed. So in 2014, Canada had a population of roughly 35.5 million, and rental supply was keeping relatively in place with that population growth. But fast forward 10 years to 2024, and Canada's population surpassed 41 million. Yet the types of rentals being built didn't match population needs. According to CMHC's February 2025 Housing Market Outlook, rental apartment construction reached record levels in 2024 due to government support, rapid population growth, and strong rent growth at a time of planning. But here's the twist. Most of those new units were not family-sized, long-term homes, the kind of thing that we need for those as a stepping stone past, say, their early 20s. Instead, builders focused on investor-friendly micro units in densely populated towers, cheaper to build, easier to flip or rent at a premium, or turn into an Airbnb type rental. And that supply was not evenly distributed throughout Canada. Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary led the way, but much of the country still saw housing shortfalls. And remember, this wasn't just a decade of construction. It was a decade of financialization, let's call it. Over the past 10 years, Canada's rental market shifted from long-term livable housing to short-term high-yield assets. You probably know someone who went to a seminar and walked away thinking rental property is the best passive income out there. Then when rates climbed in between 2021 and 2023 and Canada's overnight rate peaked at 5%, thousands of those same get-rich-quick landlords suddenly saw cash flow turn negative. Variable rate mortgages got squeezed, and instead of selling, many just pushed those losses onto tenants. A lot of them used renovictions, which became a key strategy because changing just a few tenants in a building lets landlords reset the rent prices for the entire complex. CMHC noted that in 2024, as financially able tenants move to higher priced new units, more affordable options will gradually open up for other tenants. But that didn't happen, and that isn't strategy. That's the idea of attrition in housing. These people will move on, and so we will have more. But they didn't, because they couldn't, because prices went up, because landlords had to raise prices. So according to CMHC's data from January 2025, purpose-built rental construction was at historic highs. But the design of the system means that more units does not mean more affordability. They say, we expect this momentum to continue through 25-26, supported by numerous projects set to start. But at the same time, they also say, the increase in unsold condo units will likely reduce new project launches, leading to a decline in new condo apartment construction. So what happens when builders can't flip pre-sales and landlords can't raise rents fast enough to keep up with their own payments? They either exit the market, as we're seeing en masse right now with condos are basically unsellable in Toronto and major markets, or they start to squeeze tenants harder. CMHC, by the way, isn't even pretending that the system is working. The report outrightly states, rental affordability will take more time to improve. Some vacant units will adjust to market rents, and renters' incomes will catch up to previous increases. Did we all hear that last line? I guess it's on a hope and a prayer that incomes catch up to the rental increases, because nothing is pointing to the fact that that might remotely happen in the next 12 to 18 months, let alone longer. So what's the plan? They're just telling everybody to wait it out. Let tenants struggle until the market cools off, hopefully, or until people can afford their mortgages on their properties that they're renting, or what? Because there are thousands of condos for sale right now, not moving, but rent isn't going down drastically. Lastly, CMHC warns that more affordable regions like Alberta and Quebec may recover faster, but the core rental markets will remain tight. This paints a really clear picture that the market is not designed for balance. It's designed to tolerate maximum pressure until tenants break or investors give up. And investors giving up is not the corporate investors who they're looking at. So, with historic rental construction in 2024, the system didn't fix itself. Why? Because it was never designed to. In part 2 next Friday, we'll expose how corporate strategy and government policy, like REIT lobbying, are keeping this rental crisis alive and well. And more importantly, we'll ask who's profiting from your inability to buy or rent affordably in Canada. Have a wonderful weekend.